Hey, what's up everyone? This is another episode of Grow Food SA. So today we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of fruiting plants that are coming in on my kind of native berm. So a couple of these things are just native pollinators. This is a Jerusalem sage, really beautiful flower, interesting seed pod. And right above it is a leguminous Senna. So you can tell it's kind of producing a bean. These tend to be nitrogen fixing to a certain degree, so that's why it's kind of incorporated with some of the fruit trees that are out here. So we have our fig that's coming in, growing pretty well. And this next one I kind of wanted to focus on is the Barbados cherry. So this one is a Dwarf Barbados Cherry. You can see kind of what the flowers look like, and it produces this little berry here. So we can take this berry, open it up in the seed. And the taste right now is kind of mild, not too much flavor to it, but still an edible berry. You often see birds start eating this. That's kind of when you know it's ready to. We've got a young Granny Smith apple. And right down here is another one that produces a berry within its first year. It's the Goji Berry. So these can still get a little bit more red before they're edible. You can dry them. You often find them dried in stores because they don't really preserve that well. So growing them fresh in your garden is some of the only ways to kind of be having access to fresh goji berries. They're really nutrient dense, really good to have. Here's another pollinator, salvia. That kind of brings a lot of the bees to the area so that they can come and pollinate. And here we got a snow peach, snow queen I believe, and these are coming in pretty well. We actually go ahead and take that one and let it ripen on the counter. So going back to this Barbados cherry, this Dwarf Barbados Cherry, is it's heat tolerant, loves full sun, works well in our climate. I'd really advise it, just a nice plant to kind of have around, especially the dwarf variety. Doesn't really get that tall. We're trying to experiment with some of the adult larger variety. But the other one that also does really well is that Goji Berry. So both of these can produce the berry very quickly and work with full sun and can tolerate a lot of the conditions that we have here in South Texas. So here's a couple of cucumbers that are coming in. These are pickling cucumbers. Usually you'd want to pick them a little bit smaller than this. And you can just pickle the whole cucumber, you can slice them up. This works well trellised on a cattle panel or a hog panel, arched over a pathway, so you can kind of utilize things, spaces like that. We got parsley that's also growing in right now. And here's some of the peppers that we have. And you can see where we had chopped off earlier to allow it to bush out more. So this allows a lot more of a bushing kind of habit and a lot more of a production on them. And then we also have squashes coming in again. You got to be careful with squashes with the squash vine burrower. And a couple of things are kind of eating some of these leaves, so we'll be checking on them later. These are a couple of the vegetables that grow well in the summer and in the heat.